If your life was in trouble, would you want someone to save you? On the contrary, if you could save someone else's life, would you? Organ donors save thousands of lives every year. If you're no longer in need of organs, why not give them to someone who does need them? My name is Amanda Pate, and I am an organ donor, as you can see in the bottom right there. When people say they are organ donors, do you know exactly what they mean by that term? It's okay if you don't, as many people may not be sure of what that term means. To some, it may seem cool or interesting, it may sound cool, while to others it may seem scary. But what is being an organ donor really about? According to DonateLife.com, becoming a donor is consenting to making all of your organs available at your time of death. And this is to other people who are in need of those organs. But this does not mean the donation of your entire body. In learning about organ donors, it is crucial to know about why people become organ donors, why people choose not to be organ donors, and lastly, why everyone should become an organ donor. First, I'd like to touch on why people choose to become organ donors. It can be a tough situation when you're in line waiting to get your new driver's license, and you're basically asked if you want to save someone's life or not. With everyone looking over you and staring at you from every direction, you know you must choose to become an organ donor. Well, at least that was the case for me. I never really understood why I should become an organ donor. I just thought it was the right thing to do. As I was saying before, many people may not know why they choose to be an organ donor, which is why some don't choose to be organ donors, but some still do, because they just think it's the right thing to do. And I would be curious to see how many people's answers were similar to that. Now, let's talk about why people choose not to become organ donors. Did you know that according to Tara Parker Pope, only 38% of Americans actually are organ donors? Some heartless people, right? Well, that's not what they think. They think the heartless people are the donors because they're the ones losing their hearts after they pass away. Many people choose not to become donors because they don't want to be cut up. They want to be buried as themselves with all of their being, which is fine. Other people fear that they are not healthy enough, or they fear that a doctor may not try as hard to save them in a life or death situation if they're donors. Pretty crazy. But 44% of Americans feel that instead of their organs going to good use, that they will be sold on black markets. And above all of these excuses, a lot of people are honestly just scared, and many don't understand the importance and benefits of organ donors, which is why they do not become organ donors. But that's why I want to explain and encourage everyone to become an organ donor. According to organdonor.gov, one organ donor can save 8 human lives. How amazing and perhaps inspiring. I think that in itself would be a convincer. However, for someone who may need a little bit more of a push, it has been repeatedly proven that losing a loved one has been more easily coped with when that loved one was an organ donor and an organ was given to someone else and saved another life. In a way, it's as if part of that person is still alive as their organs live on in someone else's body. I actually have a personal story that justifies both sides. My uncle was a recipient of a donated heart. It was in 2010. Within that year, he had had 3 open heart surgeries, and with no signs of improvement, he was put on a waiting list for a new heart, which could take however long. You can't schedule when someone's going to die. But within hours, a donor had been located. The surgery took approximately 6 hours, but the waiting felt like days. We couldn't be more grateful for what the donor gave us. He gave my uncle a second chance at life, as well as my family a longer time spent with him. On the other hand, the family of the donor wrote a letter to my family. They wanted the receiver to realize the kind of man that used to live through his new heart, and they wanted to ensure that his loving spirit still lived on. They were, of course, mourning the loss, but it was easier for them as they were able to simultaneously apprehend that their deceased family member truly was a hero. Being an organ donor saves lives. And after this experience, I've learned just how much of an impact a donor can have on someone's life and that of their family. Thankfully, America has made the registering process easy and extremely accessible. Simply check a small box when you're in line to get your new driver's license or identification card. That simple check mark can save up to 8 lives. To leave you with a thought, an unknown author wrote, "Don't think of organ donations as giving up a part of your life to keep a total stranger alive. It's really a total stranger giving up almost all of themselves to keep part of you alive." Some may say why, but I say why not?